Oh wow.
Yeah, that was the In the End demo.
That sounded super cool. I love how, especially with the lyrics, with the verses, it's like almost completely different lyrics, but you can hear a couple of like seeds of what were going to become the final lyrics. You can just hear like a couple of lines here and there that you're like, "Ooh, I know that one."
Yeah, it's always so interesting. I feel like with bands that get as big as Linkin Park, you don't always hear how these songs originally started. So it's so interesting to be able to see, In the End really started about, the song was about something completely different than what it, is now known as, this love or heartbreak, teenage
Yeah.
drama song. But before, it's interesting to see it almost makes more sense that it started out as this disappointment by the system that it's always going to keep you down.
I honestly I think that it would be cool to hear a more updated version. Obviously, it couldn't be done now
Mhm.
because with Chester's passing. But I think that it would have been really cool to hear this version of the lyrics with the more up-to-date production style and with Chester's vocals on it. That would sound really cool.
Yeah, it would be. I'm interested to see one. I wonder if they ever performed it live somewhere in the later stages of their career or not. But I'm sure.
I don't know.
Hopefully, there's a video of that somewhere on the internet, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah. It's also like Chester's vocals also just bring this up to just the next level. Absolutely, too. Like, he was such a talented and emotional and raw vocalist. Like you can definitely hear, when it comes to the singing parts, whoever sang this, I don't know who it would have been at the time,
Well,
but
this
whoever sang this was a lot more I don't know if meek would be a good word, but like a lot less like present on the mic.
I definitely think so. I think at this point it was also still Chester Bennington, but
Was it?
I think it was, but I definitely noticed that through all of these demos was that Chester's voice was definitely a lot more meek. It felt like he wasn't quite as confident in himself. And on the flip side, Mike Shinoda definitely sang, or he rapped with a lot more anger and vitality in his voice that he kind of brought back to more intimate setting for it, or intimate volume and intensity for what ended up being the productions.
That was one of the things that I liked too. I think that I liked the tone of the rap in the demo a bit more actually, because of that.
I definitely do too. And you can hear in Hybrid Theory and Meteora, he definitely has that kind of more subdued tone. But then as it goes on, especially come Minutes to Midnight, he really brings back that energy that you can tell that he had during these early demos as well.
Yeah.
If you listen on this 20th anniversary Meteora, you can hear some of the demos that were completely different songs as well. But Isal, which would have become A Place for My Head, he's really rapping like faster than he ever raps in any of the what ends up becoming the main production albums. And you kind of wish that he would bring that, although I understand it might not be practical if you're expecting to sing 200 days a year live. Might not be practical to do, but it's cool to know that they're out there though.
Yeah, that for sure. And I do like when bands release early demos. It's interesting because I know like there are certain people who will fully, record demos and stuff like that. And then there are a lot of times that demos more or less exist as just different versions of the song getting played live as they're working on it.
Yeah, if you're,
and it's all just down to how you like to work realistically.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone's a fan of Linkin Park, the 20th Century Meteora album that they just released spans really that entire range, where some of the songs it says, oh, this is a demo of this song, and it sounds there's nothing in common with what it ends up becoming. And it's cool to see that whole progression, but everything from that to some of the songs that sound almost identical.
All right, so my next tune is a bit of a different bit of a departure from what we were just listening to. Another group that I found on Bandcamp, just searching in various genres by new releases, I decided to look for a jazz release. And so this is a group that's based out of Oakland, California called Sitka Sun. And this song is called Dauntless.